Hello and welcome to New Mexico Rising. My name is Dan. You know, each and every week I try to bring experts from across the country to talk to me right here on my show so we can bring things to you, New Mexicans. On this week's program, Medicare deadlines are looming. What can you do to protect yourself? Well, I got experts to help us out.
If you're an existing Medicare Advantage member, you would have received in August or September what is known as an annual notice of change from your insurance provider. And that describes or lists what's going to change in your current benefit plan.
And holiday feasts are on their way. We got suggestions and tips and tricks to make those go swimmingly.
Now, salads are another great thing to add to your diet this time of year. And for me, it's all about the dressing. I like to make mine from scratch using tahini.
That's all right here on New Mexico Rising. As we navigate another respiratory virus season with COVID, the flu, and RSV swirling around us, the question on everybody's mind is, what's got me feeling under the weather? And today, we have Dr. David H. Persing, an expert in molecular diagnosis, here to shed light on how a cutting-edge test is taking the guesswork out of our sniffles and coughs. Welcome to the show, Dr. Persing. How are you, my friend?
Doing very well, thank you. Good morning.
What do you think we should expect from this year's respiratory virus season?
Well, nobody really knows what's going to hit us this season, but we do know that there are new COVID variants out there that could hit us. The existing variants could increase in number. There are two different types of flu A and flu B, and flu B we haven't had much experience with over the past couple of years because it really hasn't circulated in large numbers in the U.S. And then RSV is a relative, it's been around for a long time, but it's only been recently recognized as part of the mix of viruses that can cause severe symptoms, all of which are very similar to each other and so difficult to distinguish clinically. And so we depend increasingly on testing to be able to identify the different viruses and distinguish between them.
So what are some of the best first steps when you're experiencing respiratory symptoms?
Well, first of all, be aware of the potential of complications. The viruses we're talking about, COVID, flu A, flu B, and RSV, can all cause relatively severe complications. And so it's important to keep an eye on the course of the infection. If symptoms get much worse over a short period of time, to seek medical attention, and ideally to identify which virus it is and to understand whether an antiviral therapy would be appropriate in the context of these infections.
Is there like an easy way or a tip to like differentiate between the flu, COVID, RSV, and like just the common cold?
With the rapid antigen tests that we're all used to using for COVID, that only tests for one virus. And so if it's negative, it could be because the test is not sensitive enough for detection of COVID. And we've recently seen in published articles that the Omicron strains that are in circulation now are harder to detect with antigen tests. And so we have to depend more heavily on PCR-based tests, which actually detect the RNA from the virus. These are more sensitive methods. And using these tests, we can actually detect 4 different viruses at one time from a single clinical specimen. And so it's important to realize that the tests that are widely available in antigen test form are not able to detect more than one virus.
So why is it important to have the PCR tests and that could like detect current and some of the mutating viruses?
Yeah, it's important because the PCR tests are more sensitive for early in the course of the infection. And that's the point at which antivirals are going to be most effective versus waiting for days for an antigen test to become positive and then getting antivirals. Antivirals are going to be less effective in those patients. And so using a sensitive molecular test provides an opportunity for earlier intervention and earlier treatment. And these methods have really been developed over the past several years during COVID, and now they're able to detect multiple things, all of which require different approaches to management and therapy.
Dr. Persing, thanks for joining me this morning. Where can we go for more information about all this?
You can look up the education site on the Cephia.com website for more information. Also, the CDC website has great information about what's circulating in your part of the country.
Dr. Persing, thanks for joining me, my friend.
You're welcome.
You know, with the sniffle season upon us, getting sidelined by a cold or flu pretty much seems inevitable. But fear not, my friends, because today we are joined by the fabulous Dr. Contessa Metcalf, a maven in preventative medicine and, you know, a familiar face because she's been on this show a lot and she's also been on Bravo's Married to Medicine. She's here to share some tips for outsmarting those pesky germs, whether dealing with a sore throat or tending to a sick kid. Plus, she's got a clever way that you can get help from an unlikely app. Welcome back to the show, Dr. Metcalf. How are you?
I am fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm healthy today. That's
good.
That's all I can say is at least today I'm still healthy.
Yes, yes.
What are some of your tips with dealing with a cold and like flu when you're sick? Whether it's yourself, your kids, a family member, or I don't know, something like that.
Well, my biggest tip is, of course, if you're sick, stay at home. Please don't go to work. Don't send your kids to school. Sit around, let your immune system do what it does, which is rest. And in order to kind of keep that healthy, making sure you're eating lots of fruits and vegetables, drinking lots of water, getting exercise, vitamin D, sunlight, and making sure that you are, of course, staying away from people who could be sick, right?
So what are your tips to like prepare for the upcoming cold and flu season?
Well, we sometimes, you know, of course, I want you to get vaccinated. Don't forget that every year you need to get vaccinated. And especially if you have not done so this year, it's not too late. And if you are sick, you know, a lot of times people think, oh, I'll call my doctor and get some antibiotics. Antibiotics do not treat viruses. And so I'm going to tell you the same thing. Use an app like DoorDash and order all of those over-the-counter things to help you recover, like for NSAIDs or, you know, cough and flu, your symptoms of, you know, cough and body aches and things of that nature. And so, you know, the best thing to do is to use that app. There's a health icon, and there are over 30,000 items that are available to you that are even FSA and HSA eligible that you could order right from the comfort of your own home.
So you're saying DoorDash is kind of the easiest place to shop for over-the-counter medicine and other health items when you're too sick to leave
Yes, and I want
your
you
home?
to sit at home and just get better, recover, you know, get your immune system strong by resting, because there's nothing better than rest.
I didn't even think about DoorDash of delivering my like medicines while I'm in bed. That's not a bad idea. All right, with holiday travel season kind of kicking off soon, what do you recommend consumers do to like protect themselves against getting sick while traveling?
Some people are not going to like this. I want you to dig in the bottom of that drawer and find that mask, put that mask back on. And especially if you're going to be in a busy airport or you're going to be in a congested space like a airplane, wearing that mask. And of course, when you get to your destination, I don't know about you, but a lot of times that's unfortunately when I get sick, when I'm in somewhere in a place that's unfamiliar. So if I'm in a hotel again, using an app like DoorDash, I can go right on that app. And instead of me driving around, you know, for hours looking for a place to get all the things that I need, I can sit there and just recover, so I can spend some of that time, because those NSAIDs actually can help to shorten the duration of that illness. And I can use that time to recover, get hydrated, get tanked back up, and then spend some time with my friends and family when I'm feeling better.
I'm always down with the mask. I was wearing it before it became a thing for COVID-19. I was not sick when I was wearing it, so I'm bringing it back whenever I go around a bunch of sick and gross people.
Listen to the man. He's absolutely right. And people forget that. They forgot that when they were masked up, they got less respiratory illnesses. I mean, it makes sense, but, you know, a lot of people just hated wearing the mask. And I get it. But of course, right now, when we know that viruses are prevalent, it's the best thing to do.
I've been to the DMV before, and there's a lot of sick and gross people out there. So I try to stay away, keep their germs away from me. And I heard you can use HSA and FSA funds on everyday healthcare items. Like, what type of items can you use your funds on?
Absolutely. So all those cold and flu symptoms, things that we talked about, those vitamins, those supplements, some of those pain, anti-inflammatory, anti-fever medications are right there in the app. Cough syrups and things of that nature. You can actually go into the app. There is in the DoorDash app, there's a health icon. And there is going to be an icon that's going to say FSA or HSA eligible. And if that is the case, all you have to do is put that card, that debit card information into your payment option, and and check out, and you'll be able to automatically get those things charged to that account, which is amazing because if you don't use those funds, you will lose them by January the 1st.
Shopping spree.
Yeah.
That's it. Dr. Contessa Metcalf, thank you for joining me once again. Where can we go for more information and also follow you on social media?
Well, I'm Dr. Contessa on all major platforms. And of course, just download that DoorDash app. It's all right there and click on that health icon.
That's quite dashing.
Dashing. I love it.
As the clock ticks down to December 7th as a deadline for Medicare's annual enrollment period, the process can seem daunting and the stakes are kind of high. Today, we're cutting through the complexity with Fran Soisman, CEO of eHealth, with a storied career spanning the top tiers of healthcare management. Fran is here to kind of decode the ABCs and Ds of Medicare. Welcome back to the show, Fran. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, Dan. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so what challenges do seniors face when navigating Medicare coverage during the annual enrollment period?
Well, the word daunting is the right description. It can be daunting. It can be stressful because seniors are bombarded, and I am a senior. So I experience the same kinds of stressful situations that others do in terms of what they hear on the radio, the TV, their mailboxes are full, their emails are cluttered. But it's an important time to do an assessment of whether or not the coverage you have today is going to meet your needs tomorrow. So it can be a little unnerving at times, but it's really important to take the time to evaluate what your needs are going forward.
So what can beneficiaries do to best prepare for Medicare's annual enrollment period? What are some of your top tips?
Well, my top tips start with, if you're an existing Medicare Advantage member, you would have received in August or September what is known as an annual notice of change from your insurance provider. And that describes or lists what's going to change in your current benefit plan in the next year. So let's start there. Second, take an inventory, a health inventory. Determine what your medical or prescription coverage needs are, what prescriptions you're taking currently, the physician relationships that you have, an inventory of your financial situation. Has it changed in the past year? Is it going to change next year? And then to the extent that you're going to have an elective procedure in the upcoming year, it may require hospitalization or it could require outpatient surgery. But nevertheless, that's where your financial exposure could be the greatest. So it's important to know that in advance and what kind of coverage is going to give you the best financial protection as well. Fourth, clear about an hour of your calendar. That's about all it takes to go through the educational, the comparison shopping experience, and the enrollment experience. It's an hour well spent. Lastly, it's really best to work with a licensed agent or broker, like an eHealth organization that has the expertise, that can do the comparisons for you, listen to your needs, and then help you determine which plan best meets your needs for the upcoming year.
So what is the best time from now until like December 7th for a beneficiary to select and enroll in coverage if they needed to, like if they decide to speak with a licensed agent or something like that?
Yes. Dan, I, like many people, can be a procrastinator. It's best not to procrastinate. I recommend one of two options. If you still need to touch base with some family members and get their thoughts, then at least reach out to eHealth and schedule an appointment. Could be a week from now, a day from now, but don't wait until December 6th or December 7th. Take action now. So either schedule an appointment or start the process immediately. It'll be far better because the more people that wait, the less of a good, enjoyable experience it will be because you'll undoubtedly be on hold, and no one likes to listen to on hold music.
Fran, we're almost running out of time. Where can we go for more information?
Yes, Dan, you can go to ehealth.com, EHEALTH.com.
Thanks for joining me, Fran. As we mark Diabetic Eye Disease Awareness Month, we turn our focus to a condition that's as prevalent as it is preventable. Diabetic retinopathy. I'm having a hard time saying retinopathy a complication of diabetes that impacts more than 50% of people with diabetes and is the leading cause of irreversible blindness in working age Americans. And today we have Dr. Judy E. Kim, president of the ASRS.
Thank you for having me. It's called diabetic retinopathy.
Diabetic retinopathy. All right.
Perfect.
Okay, so what is diabetic retinopathy and why should people be aware of it if they do have diabetes?
Thank you for having me, first of all. Diabetic retinopathy literally translates to disease of the retina in people with diabetes. So what the heck is retina? Retina is the inner lining of the eye wall that acts like a film of a camera in the old days when we had film in a camera. All the light gets focused on there, and it transmits to our brain, and then we see. However, in diabetes, the vessels of our retina get damaged. So they can leak, they can bleed, they can detach, and as a result, we lose the ability to see our loved ones, to be able to read, to be able to drive, and therefore we are trying to educate people that it's important to see a retina specialist if you have diabetes, to get an eye examination at least once a year.
So what increases your risk of developing a diabetic retinopathy, and what are some of the warning signs?
You are saying that word so perfectly now. So diabetic retinopathy can be prevented by many different things. One, controlling your diabetes. If you have high A1C, it can increase the risk of diabetic retinopathy. Something that you cannot control is the duration, how long you've had disease. However, you can also control your weight and exercise and so forth. So one easy way to remember all of this is a mnemonic that I came up with. A, B, C, D, E, and S. A for controlling your A1C, B for your blood pressure, C for controlling your cholesterol, D for diet, E for exercise, and S for quitting smoking. And you can work on all of these, but also it's important to know that the first symptom of diabetic retinopathy is no symptom. You don't get any pain, you don't get any loss of vision in the early stages. It's only when it gets more advanced that you see double vision, blurred vision, decreased vision, or sudden onset of floaters or loss of vision. So it's important that if you see a retina specialist earlier on, we can do much more to preserve your vision.
So how can this condition be prevented?
So work on A, B, C, D, E, S, see your retina specialist. And if you have retinopathy with diabetic macular edema, which is a swelling of that important 20/20 part of the eye, you can get treatments. We have lots of treatments, and that's the important thing, that we can treat to not only preserve your vision, but even improve your vision. We can do anti-VEGF, vascular endothelial growth factor agents into the eye. We can laser. We can even do surgery. And surgery has improved quite a bit too. So with any of these treatments as needed, we can preserve your vision to see for a lifetime. Have your retina specialist examine you and make those recommendations. And don't be afraid to get any of these treatments.
Dr. Kim, thanks for joining me this morning. Where can our viewers go for more information about any of this?
Yes, if you have diabetes, or if you know anyone with diabetes, your friends, your family members, please go to our website, cforalifetime.org, cforalifetime.org.
And thank you for teaching me how to say diabetic retinopathy, and I still mess it up at the end.
No, that's perfect. Thank you very much for having me. Diabetic retinopathy.
Thanks, Dr. Kim. I could be trained.
Yes, you definitely can.
As the daylight hours get shorter and time spent outside exercising decrease, many of us kind of focus on our diets to try to stay healthy throughout the upcoming months. And today we have registered dietitian Mia Sin, who is here with a few ways to help prioritize wellness this fall season. Welcome to the show, Mia. How are you?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I've partnered with a few brands to help make this time of year a little bit healthier. So my first tip is to choose beverages with benefits. First, we have the Blue Diamond Almond Breeze almond milk. This is a great dairy milk alternative, fortified with calcium and vitamins, free of gluten, lactose, saturated fat, cholesterol, and added sugar. Comes in 2 varieties, unsweetened original and unsweetened vanilla. Another great beverage with benefits is cold pressed juice. It's a great way to get vitamins and minerals into your diet from fruits and veggies. I love this brand Wonder Beet. They're formerly known as Beetology, and they champion the power of beets in 4 delicious ways, including beet lemon ginger and beet cherry. They're high in nutrition and flavor, low in calories, no added sugar or artificial additives, just 100% organic fruits and veggies. Now, salads are another great thing to add to your diet this time of year. And for me, it's all about the dressing. I like to make mine from scratch using tahini. I use this brand here. It's the all-natural Mighty Sesame Squeeze and Serve Organic Tahini. It's made with 1 ingredient, sustainably sourced high-quality sesame seeds. So it's packed with calcium, 8 grams of protein. It's vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, kosher, and halal. And most importantly, it's delicious. Next, protein. Protein helps to build and maintain lean muscle mass. And salmon is a great source. That's also a good source of omega-3 fats, which are important for brain and heart health. Mowi is the world's largest producer of farm-raised Atlantic salmon. It's BAP certified, which is one of the highest standards in sustainability in the industry. And it comes in different sizes, including the 6-ounce portions in plain and seasoned varieties. My next tip is vitamins. Now, many of us, especially this time of year, fall short on key nutrients, and studies suggest that 9 out of 10 kids in America fall short on at least 1 key nutrient. That's why I'm a huge fan of Smarty Pants vitamins, because they can help fill in nutrient gaps and easily fit into your daily routine. These premium gummy multivitamins contain more nutrients to provide more comprehensive supplementation in 1 daily serving. There's product options for toddlers, kids, teens, adults, free of synthetic colors and certified free from 9 major food allergens. These are the Smarty Pants Kids Multi and Omegas, made with over 15 different nutrients, including vitamins A, B12, C, zinc, and D3, which all support your immune health this time of year. Now, my favorite part, snacking. Snacking gets a bad rap, but it's so important to choose healthy snacks. I love this option here. It's the Good Measure blood sugar friendly snacks. This is their most popular snack, the peanut butter and dark chocolate nut butter bar. These are so delicious and convenient, and they're made with peanut chunks, seeds, dark chocolate, rich peanut butter. So they're creamy with light crunch. For more information, you can head to my website, nutritionbymia.com.
Well, thanks for joining me, Mia.
Thank you.
One way to celebrate the holidays is with crowd-pleasing desserts. And joining us today is expert pastry chef Michelle Palazzo, who is teaming up with Plugra European-style butter to share her personal pointers for baking everyone's favorite picture-perfect pie. With Chef Palazzo leading the dessert brigade at the renowned Franchette in New York City, the restaurant has received numerous accolades from Bon Appetit, the James Beard Awards, and the New York Times. Welcome to the show, Chef Palazzo. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, so nothing compares to a picture-perfect holiday pie. What's the most important elements of any pie?
So the most important element of truly any pie is that buttery, flaky pie crust. And to achieve that tip, my number 1 tip is that better butter matters.
Better butter matters. All right, so what's kind of like the key for creating that perfect pie?
So the key to creating a perfect pie is using high quality ingredients like Plugra European style butter. You know, it's that slow churn pliability and that 82% butterfat, which is the French standard. And what this does, it provides a perfect formulation to create the perfect pie crust and that melt in your mouth crust.
All right. Can you share some of those expert tips for trying to achieve a flaky pie crust that bakers at home could try?
Yes, my number 1 tip when creating any pie dough is you want to keep all of your ingredients as cold as possible, especially your butter. And you know, after we've hydrated our pie dough with our water, we want to really allow that pie dough to relax and stay chill. You put it in your fridge for at least 20 minutes. And what this does is this will help produce a really nice flaky pie crust and also reduce any sort of shrinking that you may have whenever you're making any pie dough.
So what other professional baking pointers do you have to share? Because every time I've tried, I've failed successfully.
So I love this technique, which is a blitz puff stacking method. And basically what this does is you take your pie dough, and as you're hydrating, you're stacking it on top of itself. And what this does is it creates those really beautiful layers where it's pie, butter, and really produces that really super flaky, almost like croissant dough-like crust. My another technique is this blind bake technique. And this is when anytime you're making a pie that has like pumpkin or anything that's like a very wet filling, it's when you partially bake your pie dough. And what this does is then you add in your filling, and this provides that really nice crispy pie dough and won't get any sort of soggy bottoms on there as well.
Can you share a damn fine pie that will like wow guests this holiday season?
Oh, yes, I can. So I actually have two for you to try. One is a chocolate custard pecan pie. It's layered with a beautiful pecan praline filling. And then another one is my beautiful maple pumpkin pie with a little bit of cognac in it. That cognac really elevates the pumpkin flavor. And for both of these recipes, I use my flaky pie crust using that Palooga European style butter.
Michelle Palazzo, where can we go for more information and maybe even follow you on social media?
So for more information and all these baking tips and these recipes, you can visit palooga.com.
Chef Michelle Palazzo, thanks for joining me this morning, my friend.
Thank you so much for having me.
And that is it for New Mexico Rising. I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in to be part of the show. If you want to follow us on social media, all you got to do is go to Facebook, Instagram. Just look up New Mexico Rising and go to our website. It's brand new, newmexicorising.com. We're doing something kind of cool on there. A lot of our guests send us like books, DVDs, sometimes some trinkets and whatnot. And what we're doing is putting it on our website itself, kind of like a shopping cart, where if you want, you can buy that stuff for $0. And if you just pay the shipping because it just comes out of our pocket, we'll send it to you. We don't need it. Just help us out by paying for the shipping and we'll send it to you. And that's what we're doing. Plus we got t-shirts of like baby cats and other silly things and New Mexico Rising logos. So show your support to the show. Anything you buy there helps me and the rest of the crew be able to eat, and the cats eat another month. I know that sounds silly, but go to our website, support us, help us out. That was New Mexico Rising. Until next week, that was New Mexico Rising. I just said that.
Dan. I'm here at Elysium Therapeutics right now. We're getting ready to do a Thai massage pretty soon. This is Ludo, my therapy dog. So I started this business in 2018. I am a licensed massage therapist. I graduated from UTMI, and my specialties are Thai table massage and Ashiatsu.
Has 45 beers on tap, weekly specials, live entertainment, and we are kid and pet friendly. Located in Riverside Plaza off Corzo Montano.